We decided to travel to Japan just before the cherry blossom spring peak season, to avoid the crowds. With less than a week to plan the trip, we called friends who were either from Tokyo, had lived in Japan for several years, or had traveled throughout the country extensively. We picked their best recommendations and had an unbelievable trip. So here it is, passing on the love and all the insider tips, my guide to Japan in 8 days.
And here we are on a 20-hour flight.
Getting around Tokyo is super easy. Oh, and by the way, one of the best recommendations I can give you is to get a portable Wi-Fi at the airport. It'll give you GPS and keep you connected throughout your trip. Once you're in the subway, I really recommend you get a Metro card and just charge it as you go along. If this is your first time in Tokyo, there are certain neighborhoods you cannot miss. OMOTESANDO is one of my favorite ones. This district hosts most local fashion designers, experimental coffee shops, and attracts an amazing crowd. It is great for shopping and just walking around. Shibuya is famous for its crossing. Thousands of people rush to get to the other side every time the walking light goes green. Visually, I guess it could be equivalent to Times Square, and it is surrounded by great shops and little karaoke spots. It's a district full of life. GINZA is another area worth exploring during the day. This is where you will find great department stores, international designer boutiques, great quality products, and some of the best restaurants in Japan. If you're a foodie, this is an absolute must for your trip.
So, and it is super impressive, it's massive, we love Japan.
Now let's talk about sightseeing. Tokyo has loads of hidden temples. You will find these Buddhist oases scattered around the city, often hidden behind an amazing modern building. And I won't lie to you, some of the best reviewed ones on a lot of apps are not necessarily the best ones, so make sure you check out my blog post with some recommendations and do your research, knowing, what you're looking for. I have to admit, one of the best things from Tokyo is its nightlife. Each area offers a totally different experience, and it basically depends on what you like. But zones like the Golden Guy are a must. Imagine narrow alleys filled with tiny bars that can fit less than 6 people at once. This area offers great opportunity to chat with locals and travelers alike. And after all, isn't that one of the best things about traveling? So make sure you go there and don't be shy. If you want a wild night out, another great place to go to is Roppongi. It's a lot of fun, but has a bit more of a local vibe. And if you want a more luxurious and chic evening, head over to GINZA, OMOTESANDO, or the Park Hotel at the Financial District for some Western jazz and killer views.
Hey, so we are at the Tokyo station today. We're on the bullet train on our way to Kyoto.
Okay, outside of the city, we wanted to experience a more traditional side of Japan, so we decided to stay in a ryokan. That is basically a Japanese bed and breakfast, where you're encouraged to leave your shoes at the door, walk around in a kimono, and sleep on the floor. It's a lot of fun. But make sure you do your research before booking. Some ryokans are absolutely amazing and others are really basic. For me, comfort is always a priority. So have a look around and make sure you find whatever fits your style and your budget. After a couple of days in downtown Kyoto, we decided to move to the bamboo forest and into the Surian Collection Hotel. This is a spa-focused hotel in front of the river, and it has its own private spring water pools called onsen. If you get a chance, I really recommend you stay here. It is absolutely amazing, it's super relaxing, and you will love their champagne happy hour by the river. So this is the Surian Collection Hotel. We have a bath. And this room is actually called The Sound the Moon Makes. And we have that representation of the moon, which is the light, and the reflection of it on the river, which is just outside the hotel. And when it comes to seeing Kyoto, the best thing you can do is rent a bike. There are several bike rentals around the city, and they will provide a map and several routes you can do. And riding is super easy and safe because unlike many other countries, you ride on the sidewalk and not with the traffic, and that makes it so much nicer. You will discover lots of temples, you can stop at cafes and do things at your own rhythm. And if the weather is good, you will have one of the best days in Japan. Here's a little insider's tip. Before booking your travel dates, check out when the Lantern Festivals happen. These are only a few nights a year when certain temples open at night and light their pathways with traditional lanterns. All the locals show up, food shops pop up, and it is absolutely magical. If you ask me, this is the one thing everybody should do in Japan.
Hey guys, so we're done temple hopping for the day, and now we're gonna have some traditional Japanese food.
Now let's talk about food. Japan is a foodie's wonderland, and quite honestly, it is one of the main reasons why we wanted to visit. On my post, I will talk about several places to go and make some recommendations. There are some places you cannot miss. For example, the GINZA fish market was one of the first places we went to, and it was absolutely incredible. You get to see the catch of the day if you're early enough, you try completely different products and local cuisine, and to be honest, most of the time you won't know what you're eating, but it's really worth it. My advice is go with a local if you can, try the Japanese omelette, squid skewers, and pop into the local restaurants for some of the freshest sushi you will ever taste, and at an incredible price. By the way, if you have any food allergies, make sure you have the hotel concierge type a little note in Japanese on your phone so you can show it to anybody serving you food. Emphasize this is a medical condition and not a preference. If you want cool, delicious restaurants, you will find plenty scattered around the hip areas of Tokyo. If you want an unforgettable meal, there are 2 places I would suggest. The first is a restaurant called Kyubey. It is one of Japan's best sushi places, and I can tell you it's an amazing experience. You sit in front of the chef and you order a set menu, and they just keep things coming. It's fresh sushi, incredible traditional meals, and well, if you're not up to trying absolutely everything, they can always make exceptions and tell you alternative ways to eat things. The second place I loved is the Kobe beef steak Gyuan restaurant in Ginza in Tokyo. It is an amazing place, very traditional. You go in, you leave your shoes at the door, you sit on the floor, and you have the waitress cook at your table. It is absolutely spectacular. I don't ever want to have meat again anywhere else. And while you're in Japan, make sure you visit some of its many tea houses and try the sencha tea and matcha green tea. I am absolutely obsessed. If you're planning to travel to Japan, I can tell you it is an incredible place to visit. I travel a lot, and believe me, this is one of my top destinations. So check out my blog for more recommendations, insider tips, and a couple of itineraries if you're short on time. Personally, I can't wait to go back.